for taking intros and always being so consistent and being. As Mr. Brian House is going to share about this financial tip. So, no, I told you, if you're in network marketing, whatever business, you want to know how to grow your money and grow your wealth. Tonight, they're going to be talking about the self banking, being your own bank concept. It's a wealth building strategy. Listen to this. Economy, what's happening to people's 401ks, the losses that many people experienced last year, and so tonight I just wanted to get on here and just kind of reiterate the importance of what our self-banking private reserve account is all about, and especially when it comes to our membership, our opportunity, how it is the end result. It's the piece of the puzzle that everybody talks about in this industry, but nobody really has the final piece that allows you to be able to generate passive income. And guys, that's what Making Wealth Real is all about, which is what MWR stands for, Make Wealth Real. In order to make wealth real, you have to be able to develop a passive and even a stream through our compensation plan, but a passive stream of income that means your money is making money for you without you having to put in time and energy in order to generate that cash flow. Okay? This is the most important piece to me of being able to build wealth. It's the only way you're ever going to be able to experience time and financial freedom. All right? Is to be able to generate a passive stream of income. Now, that's one thing I wanted to tell you. But the other thing I wanted to tell you, and why this call is so important, why this product, this strategy that we have in MWR Financial is so significant. If you'll notice, when we talk about our self-banking private reserve account, we don't talk about it as a good way to save, grow, and protect your money tax-free with no risk of loss, or a great way to do that, or maybe one of the best ways to do that. We talk about it as the best way to save, grow, and protect your money tax-free with no risk of loss. We don't talk a lot about returns on this, but you got to realize our private reserve account is outperforming almost every savings model, if not every savings model that I know of out there these days, especially anything that's tied to the market, and without the risk of loss. Now, here's another thing I want to point out. We would not be promoting this program as the best way to save, grow, protect your money tax-free with no risk of loss, only for you to find out later that it's really not. Because you got to think that this program is tied to a Financial Edge membership that gives you unlimited consultations with wealth experts that can analyze your existing retirement plan, your existing wealth building plans. Hey guys, we're talking tonight about a wealth building strategy called self-banking or being your own bank. Awesome. Less than 6% of the people in the country even take advantage of this concept. Now you're hearing about it. Something better. There's something better. That would defeat the purpose of you even paying a membership with MWR Financial. Matter of fact, if it wasn't the best way to do that, then why would you want to pay a membership with MWR Financial? Why would you want to spend $79.97 a month to have access to all of our strategies that can create cash flow for you? And then we tell you this is the best way for you to save, grow, and protect your money tax-free with no risk of loss. I know I'm saying that over and over again, but why would we want to say that only for you to find out that it wasn't? Because if we did that, you would quit. You would quit. And I would expect you to quit, okay? But I wanted to emphasize the importance of making sure that you utilize this service, whether you utilize it at the beginning, whether you utilize it after you get an instant pay raise, wherever it is. Make sure you're tapping into this, because I'm telling you right now, I see the results. I know what people are experiencing in this company. I know that now, once they get plugged in with WealthMax, once they schedule that first consultation, once they go through a webinar with some of our wealth experts as far as Court Berner and Eric Elam and Tyler Vicario and all these phenomenal people that understand how to properly structure this the best way for you to be able to have the same advantages that are available to the wealthy, and literally only 6% of the entire population even knows that this exists.
That's right.
MWR Financial is the only one that has ever made it available to the masses, made it to where maybe you don't have $250,000 plus a year in income, but guess what? If you have $50,000, you need it just as much as the person with $250,000, if not more. And the problem with the society that we live in is that this information has been withheld from the masses. People do not market in this industry to people that are not maybe making a significant income, okay, or a high six-figure income. They market to only people that are already wealthy. Well, see, we're not doing that. We said, you know what, we want the same strategies to be available to the average consumer, the everyday consumer, and give them the opportunity to excel financially, not just people that are already wealthy, okay? And so I can't emphasize enough how much I believe in this program, how much I know it works, how I know it is absolutely the best way to accomplish your financial goals without taking the risk of losing money. I think right now, last I checked, I think it was producing 7.5 to 8.5% in returns on your money. Guys, try to get that at your bank. Look at what your 401k's done. Look at what your 403b's doing. Look at all of the investment or saving strategies out there and what has happened to them, okay, compared to what this program is doing for our members, okay? And you can look at our testimonials page. Don't take my word for it. You can listen to Gerald Parker. And as a matter of fact, Gerald, I just want you to, real quick, before we turn this over to Indamo, I just want you to share with everybody what this program has done for you, what you've done with it. If you can, I would greatly appreciate that, because I think your story has a major impact, but your story is one of hundreds. We want your story to be one of tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands, but at the same time, that's where we are right now, and I'd love it if you just kind of share with everybody what this piece of MWR Financial has been able to do for you. Can you do that for me, buddy? Hey, Brian, listen, I'll be glad to, sir. I mean, as I said at the start of the call, this is my favorite topic, because this is the saving grace for me. This private reserve. One, I had no idea that anything like this ever existed. And the fact that only 6% of the population, get a chance to play this game, and then I had 6%, 80% of them make over $250,000, and here I am with an opportunity to get in the game using money that I didn't even know I had, but was shown to me by my consultation with MoneyMax, and the CPA got me back $350 a month in tax savings that I put directly into the private reserve to get it going. And as a result of my income being able to increase it every single month with the growth of my MWR Financial business, I've been able to make a larger contribution month after month after month to position myself to win, not just for a little while, but for the rest of my life. That's what this thing has done for me. Now, when you compare it to my 401k from day one, when we did the analysis on this thing, it put me in a position to retire in 10 years versus my plan that I was on with the 401k, which is going to have, even with the contribution, is going to have me retiring in 25 years. 15 years saving right out the gate, from day one. So that was pretty impressive. And this thing is sustaining itself, and it's doing 10 times what my 401k is doing right now. I have the ability to kind of check my earnings with the 401k through the system that they allow us to access. As of yesterday, I'm down 3%. I'm operating at a negative 3% right now, so I'm losing money in my 401k. I've got a guaranteed no loss with the private reserve. I'm winning all the way around and will continue. Any gains that I make, I'll hold. This thing is phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. So excited about it that recently I set up my second one. And here's the insane part. Never came out of my pocket with any money. Used the profits from the first private reserve that was set up to fund the second one. So this is phenomenal. It really is, to see where I'll be 10, 15, 20 years from now, and the financial position that this thing is going to create for me, to be able to never, ever
have to worry about money again. I mean, $79.97, Jesus Christ, it was worth far more than that. And I've got access to these professionals that would have cost me off the street $300 an hour. You know, so that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. I've got access to people. I mean, I'm playing the game now like the wealthy people play it. I say to people every day, all MWR Financial has done is just open up the playbook that the wealthy use and giving you and me access. This thing is designed for the average, everyday person to finally get a chance to win in life and never, ever have to worry about money again. I'm on my way to doing that, man. I thank God for your vision for this program. I mean, access to these professionals that I've got, building personal relationships with those guys. It's just been a lot of fun. It's exciting. It's very exciting to know that my future is secure. My grandson will never, ever have to worry about money again. I'm working on, like, the third generation right now. So that's the excitement for me and what the PRA has done. So I'm all in, sir. I'll give it back to you.
Hey, I love it, Gerald. That was way more than what I even expected, but I greatly appreciate it. And listen, guys, we want that to be your story, and it absolutely can. No matter where you're at right now financially, I'm going to say this, and then we're going to turn it over to Ndamo. If you have not plugged in to this program, if you have not scheduled a consultation, and I got to say this real quick. Gerald, there's one thing that happened to you, and this is what I love about our relationship with our wealth generation strategies and our experts and the specialists, Eric Elam and all the people that I mentioned, Court Burner and Tyler and the whole group. They're just phenomenal, and they have a heart for helping people. They're not worried about commission. They're worried about doing what's right, and I love that. That's why they have multiple options to structure instead of being locked into one like most companies out there. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Gerald didn't have to call his specialist. After he went through that process, his specialist is monitoring his account and saying, you know what? I see an opportunity here for Gerald to be able to do even better. Gerald, did you have to call your specialist, or did the specialist call you when that time came?
No, sir. The guy called me, Eric Elam, a hell of a guy. He called me. He said, hey, buddy, I got something for you. I said, give it to me. And he laid out the plan. He said, you know, we had been talking for months about the strategy, what the next move was going to be, how I'll either increase the current PRA or either we look at doing another one, how we were going to finance it, how we were going to get the money to get it started. And then after monitoring the account, looking at everything closely for me, with me in mind, this guy makes a call and said, hey, I think I've got it done. And we figured out how to fund the second PRA from the first one. Unbelievable. No, I didn't have to make the call. He made the call.
Well, buddy, listen, I greatly appreciate it, and guys, that's what this is all about. It's about leaving a legacy, and it's about not just your future lifestyle, this is what this focuses on, but everything with MWR Financial is also about your current lifestyle, making sure we improve that, put you into a position to where you can start thinking about your future lifestyle. Listen, the whole premise of making wealth real with MWR Financial, it all started from the concept of it was great to talk about that, but it's hard to get people to realize that really can become a reality unless you help them where they're at first. That's why everything else we do, our instant pay raise, restoring your credit, eliminating your debts, helping you create more cash flow or income on top of what you're currently doing through our opportunity, that's why all of those things lead to being able to build this side of it to where you have a passive income that can literally take care of you and your family for generations to come. And I love this concept. So I wanted to share this. I hope you guys can hear the passion in my voice, understand why I'm so excited about this. I will give you a call to action. And that call to action is this. I don't care where you're at financially. I don't care if you're dead broke, you just got started with MWR Financial, you're now plugging into the program. Make sure you schedule a Wealth Max consultation, because it's not just about what you can do now. It's about knowing what it's going to take, what you're going to have to accomplish financially in order to get yourself where you need to be. And you're going to get to see that tonight as Indamo goes through this presentation of our self-banking private reserve account. So with that said, Indamo Tolson, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I'm sorry I took up so much time. Hopefully you can expedite some of what you got so we don't keep people on here for too long. But listen, I appreciate you a bunch, and I'm going to sit back and watch, because every time I see this, it just blows me away, the knowledge that we're providing to people and the access to experts that actually do it all for them. So, Indamo, with that, I'll turn it over to you, buddy.
Okay, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. And ladies and gentlemen, you heard the passion. You hear why everyone's so excited. So rather than me try to tell you and get you excited, I'm just going to tell you what it is, and you'll see why Mr. Gerald Parker, why Brian House is incredibly excited. So, and other people that have taken that. Now, we all understand that there's 4 ways to earn income. And what I love about what we do here at MWR Financial is that we can take someone from the E quadrant or the S quadrant and literally help them become big business owners. But here's the important part tonight. Tonight, our focus is going to be on the I quadrant. And here's what I'm telling you. I don't care if you're an E or an S, you can become an I tonight. And that's why Mr. Brian House was sharing with you. Make sure you.
Hey guys, there's actually a webinar portion that's going on. I'm listening to the conference call part, but you can actually see the charts, see the comparisons to a PRA and the 401k and the gains and the projections and all this kind of stuff. If you want to see that, I have a recording of a previous presentation that I can get to you, because it'd be really good for you all to see the visual. I'm gonna let this keep playing so you can hear it, but inbox me if you want to find out more about what a private reserve account is. Maybe you're like, yeah, I heard about that self-banking, I heard about being your own bank. Now I want to find out more about these wealth building strategies. This is 2019. It's time for me to I want to do it in a safe way. So many people lost money in programs in 2018. This isn't a program. This is a true investment vehicle that the wealthy have been using for years that we haven't known about. And now MWR Financial is helping the average person with it. So we'll cut this back on.
Work way too hard to get it, so we don't want to lose it. Then we want tax advantage access.
No risk of loss.
We want free access. Charge a bunch of taxes just to touch our money, and then you want protection. So if something happens to us that we didn't know, we didn't plan for, we weren't expecting, that our family is still protected. Those are the 4 cornerstones of wealth. Well, let's talk about the demographic.
Can you hear?
Here, the greatest retirement, this is Forbes, the greatest retirement crisis in the history of the world is happening right now. In the coming decades, millions to retire into poverty. That's what's being said. Too frail to work, too poor to retire is the
too
new
frail
normal.
To work and too poor
That's
to
terrible.
retire.
So why did this happen? Well, let's talk about why it happened. Because back in the 80s and before, we had pensions. So in 1980, there was still 60% of American workers had pensions. Today in 2016, it's only 4%. And pensions meant that you got paid a certain amount of money for taking care, helping making that company strong and successful, and those families that own the company super, super rich and wealthy, they paid you a certain amount of money for the rest of your life. You didn't have to wonder if it was going to make it. It didn't matter if the stock market was up, down, it didn't matter. You got a certain amount of money for the rest of your life. Today, only 4% of the people that do that, and most of those are government, certain specific type of government employees. Most people are on the 401k, which was an absolute, we saw that the U.S. government, along with corporate America, got into cahoots with each other. They allowed something that was literally only set up for wealthy, that it was never meant for people. It was supposed to help take care of high-earning professionals that making $250,000 a year or more to help them shield a little bit more money. But now we are in that, and if the market goes down and your money goes down and you don't have enough to retire, that's on you. The companies no longer have to be responsible for your retirement that way, and that's a sad state of affair. Let's talk about the truth about money. The ugly truth is that the 401k is a lousy product and a financial flop. I didn't say that. Brian House didn't say that. Our CEO and founder, MWR Financial, doesn't say that. That's from Time Magazine.
Wow.
Listen to this. Retirement dreams disappear with 401ks. They're saying trillions of dollars are being evaporated from those accounts. A retirement system that has jeopardized the financial security of tens of millions of people. What did you hear Mr. House say we had to do? Help millions of people. CBS News said that. 60 Minutes. That's who said that. Your 401k is a full scam. They also remain one of the most egregious scams in modern finance, leaving 401k management fees as the last great ripoff in retirement by Forbes.com. The retirement gamble. The 401k system has been a failed experiment for middle-class Americans because it was never designed with them in mind. The whole system needs to be reformed. That's from Frontline at PBS.org. See, there's three major reasons why this is happening. Number one is the stock market risk. Your 401k is tied to the stock market, and there are risks there. As you can see right now, the government is closed. The market is dropping every day. That means you are losing money daily. You have hidden fees and excessive cost. Sometimes as much as 30% of those fees and that's 30% of what's in your 401k. That's huge. And then you have the third reason, tax risk. See, in the future, you have to ask yourself a question. Do you think taxes will be the same, lower, or higher? Well, I'm here to tell you, they're going to be higher. And that's what I think, certainly, and most people do the same. So here's what I want to tell you, talking about that retirement gamble. Here's the old way of thinking. First, you use pre-tax dollars to invest in a company-sponsored 401k plan. Then you contribute as much as possible, and then you receive a limited match from your employer. Also, you can fund your retirement and pay taxes later. Well, that's where Rick Buter said, is that really what we should be doing? Well, this is a post-pension era mindset that has been burned into the American psyche. And the question is, but is it possible that this is exactly what we should not be doing? Now, I hear a little clicking in the background. So if you're on the moderator side, just make sure your phone is on mute. I appreciate that. Now let's talk about the new rules of retirement. The rules have changed now, and this is incredible. You want to save using after-tax dollars and pay taxes on the seed, not the harvest. See, stay away from your company 401k if they do not provide a matching contribution, and you never send extra money to your 401k above what the company will match. In fact, overfunding your 401k is like playing Russian roulette with your retirement. See, your goal is to grow your money with zero risk, access your retirement dollars tax-free, and create an income tax-free inheritance for your heirs. That's the goal. So here's some investment options. This gets taxed now. Your mutual funds, stocks, savings, CDs, bonds, and treasuries. What's taxed later, 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, annuities, fixed and variables, savings bonds. And you know what's taxed never? Roth IRAs, but the challenge with them is they have an annual limit, the private reserve account, and other tax-free retirement vehicles. So which one would you choose? If you're me, I choose never, okay? I don't want to be taxed never. But let's talk about the old approach versus the new approach for minimizing taxation. Here's what I'm going to do. This is an example of two people, 35 years old. They're contributing $400 a month for 30 years at 7.5%. So they're expecting a 7.5% return. One buys term insurance with no living benefits and a 401k with a $100 per month employer match, and only 1% management fees. That's the other buys a private reserve account with living benefits. Now watch how this happens. The old approach, they would have a total in there over those 30 years. What you saw, those 30 years of putting $400 a month away, they would have a total of over $409,000, almost $410,000 at getting 7.5% return in their 401k. What they want to do is they want to have a net income of $52,000 a year. Well, they have to take out over $69,000 a year just because they have to pay taxes now. See, they're paying taxes on the harvest, not the seed. So they have to literally go and they know they're going to pay that tax bill of $17,000 every year. So that's how they get to $52,000. Now, the new approach, that's the old approach. The new approach is your PRA, your private reserve account has actually, over those 30 years, has grown over $427, almost $428,000. You want that same income of $52,000 a year, and guess what? All you have to do is take out this year because you don't have to pay anything in taxes. Because you pay taxes on the seed, not the harvest when you needed it most. Now, in 13 years on the old approach, at the age of 78, the money out. Your total income that you would have received is $591,000 and change. But on the new approach, I want you to listen to something. Because you had no stress, you lived to your 100 years old. And then all of a sudden, you're taking $52,000 out over 35 years. Remember, you retired at 65, so another 35 years, that means you collected $1.8 million over that 35 years, and you still left your family $654,000, almost $655,000. And guess what? They get to all income tax-free. That is powerful. So the new approach made a 7-figure difference with the same money. Now, you heard Mr. Gerald Parker talk about earlier wealthy people doing things differently than we do in the middle America. And I'm telling you, those little differences, and they're the same money. It's not like each person couldn't do it, made a 7-figure difference. Now, let's look at something. We all remember the crash of 2008. Wasn't that long ago? We remember how painful that was. The average loss in 2008 was 38.49%. Now, why did this happen? Because of market risk. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the effects of risk on your retirement. Let's say you start off with $100,000 and you lose 10%. Most of us can figure that out pretty easily. You're left with $90,000. But here's what we don't know. If we ask the average person, well, to get back to $100,000, what would it take? What would you have to do? They say gain 10%. Because they say, I lost 10, so I just need to gain 10. No. Because now you're starting off at 90, and everything is going to be based on the 90,000, not the 100. So you have to have an 11.1% gain to get even. But here's what I want you to look. Let's go down to that 40%, because that's essentially what the market did in 2008. So if you had $100,000 in your 401k or other accounts like that were tied to the market, you lost 40%. That means you only have $60,000. That's the value of your account. You would need a 66.7% return, literally 26.7% more than you actually lost just to get back to even, let alone make a profit. See, this is what people don't understand, but this is what our experts, they teach you this, they share this with you, they help you understand this, and they do it for your personal situation. What I love is that this is not a one-size-fits-all. Our experts understand that everyone's financial situation is like a fingerprint. They make sure it's your situation and your setup for you. Now, what the wealthy people know that most people don't is, according to the Federal Reserve, the richest 10% of Americans own over half of the tax-free investment gains. But you ready for this? Families in the bottom half of the net worth percentile own just 6.5% of these tax-free assets. See, and if you don't own the tax-free assets, then you need to figure out how to get them, and that's why you get and schedule that consultation with WealthMax, so they will help you do it. Excuse me. Now, we know the demographics of life, and I'm not going to go over this, but basically the bottom line is this. By the time you turn 65, most people, they're going to find out that only 1% is wealthy, 4%, so 4 out of 100 people will make $50,000 a year or more, means they're financially secure, 36% are dead, and 54% are dead broke. And that's what we all are. So here's what I want you to do. What life would you design for your private reserve account? That's what we're going to talk about. Now, I wanted to show you this. I went by this kind of quickly, so let me go back. My computer is deciding to not cooperate. Oh, please. Let's see here. Okay, let me just slow down. I must have pushed something too fast. Let's go. It's not. Okay. All right, so that's a self-banking private reserve account. That's what it shows. And yeah, my computer, I don't know. I'm sorry about that. But the self-banking private reserve account, what it shows is it's showing you the little video that you can see by going to going to youtube.com/MWR Financial, or go to www.pra.com. Well, never mind. Just go to YouTube and look at it on YouTube through our MWR Financial channel. You can see this video. It tells you all about the private reserve account in 2 minutes.
Inbox me if you want the link.
Let's talk about the private reserve account and what the banks do. Now, when you put your money in a bank, this is private reserve account versus a bank. When you put your money in a bank, you get low returns on your money. You already know that, less than 1%. They lend your money to others at a much higher interest rate, and they get the difference, and that's how they make money. It's called arbitrage. Then you must qualify to borrow the money that you want. You have to pay interest to the borrowed money, and the bank sets the loan terms. The dollar serves one purpose, and basically the bank is using your money to make money for the bank. But let's talk about the private reserve account. Now, the private reserve account is market-linked returns on your money. So it's tied to the market. Your returns are tied to the market, but there's no loss provision. What that means is you're guaranteed not to lose any money. It's not, well, maybe hopefully we do all the right things, you don't lose any money. You have a contract that guarantees you will not lose any money. That's powerful. There's no qualifying to borrow money. You earn interest on your borrowed money. That's arbitrage. In other words, when you borrow money from your private reserve account, your private reserve account acts as though you never touched the money. So it allows it to still grow, with the interest that it's earning, it allows it to still grow while you're using the money for something else. That's our arbitrage in your favor. That's powerful. You get to set the loan terms. What kind of loan terms would you set? You get tax-free withdrawals, and the dollar serves multiple purposes. Now you use your money to make money for you. See, that's the power of it. So let's talk about the Retirement Miracle. 5 reasons to start, and we use that as an acronym, saving the new way with the PRA. Now let's look at this. This is out of the book, The Retirement Miracle by Patrick Kelly. Safety. A PRA contract, private reserve contract, guarantees you will never lose money due to market declines. Number 2, the tax-free. The T for tax-free. The money inside your PRA, your private reserve account, will grow tax-free and can be withdrawn tax-free. Now, number 3 of the 5 great reasons, and the A stands for accelerated living benefits. The private reserve contract allows you to access your money when you need it most with no penalties. The 4th reason, the R stands for rate of return. Indexing inside a private reserve account has historically produced higher returns than most 401k plans. And then number 5, the 5 great reasons, or the 5th great reason, is the T stands for triple compound interest. Interest on the principal, interest on the interest, and interest on the money saved in taxes. See, the rules of money have changed, and nowhere is that more true than your retirement. So let's talk about what we mean by guaranteeing you don't lose any money. It's called safe money index strategy. See, it allows you to participate in the market upside, but it limits the downside risk. So again, we're using $100,000 just to make math easy, but if you started with $100, you could do that. So let's look at what happens here. The market turns up by 8% for the year. So they gave you an annual crediting of 8%. So now your account is worth $108,000. But now if the market goes down by 8%, the next year, well, what happens if you were in the stock market, if you were in like a 401k, for example, your value of your account went down, but most people think, well, it just went down by 8, so I'm back to 100,000. No, because it's going based on 108,000. You actually are below $100,000. You've now lost real money in your account, and that's the way it is. Now, here's what happens with money indexing strategy. That zero becomes your hero, because if the market has a downturn, you don't lose any money. You stay where you are. So if you're at 108,000, then you stay at 108,000. That's the beauty of it. Now, so you get a 0% annual crediting, because they said here, you just zero. But great, because the market was down, I didn't lose any money. Then when the market goes back up, you get to start going up. But here's what's exciting. You don't have to wait for the whole market to catch up to where you are, the value of your account. You get to go up from where you started. So if your value of your account is 108,000, it goes up 5%. Now the value is 1,400. But all those in a 401k, or all those that are tied to their mutual funds and doing things like that, all tied to the market, they get that 5% boost. Their value is only 104,000. That's what's exciting. Now, they would need a 14.12% return to catch up to you. That's the power of what we do. You outperform the market. And here's a perfect example. From 1998 to 2015, this is real life. Here, the red line represents the ups and downs of the market, the stressfulness, the craziness, and we had some major ups and downs. Here, the green line line represents the PRA. So the money started going up. But notice the red line was outperforming us for a while because you get the gain, but they have caps. So they'll tell you all about that. So I'm not going to go into that in detail, but here's what happens. For those caps, you don't lose any money. So when it goes down, look what happened. As the market went down those 2 years, you stayed the same. Then when the market started to go up again, you went up from where you were. You didn't have to come and catch up with everybody. And this is back, remember, 01, 02, when the market had really collapsed from 2000 to 2002. Then as the market got up to 2008, then here we are in 2008. Look at the drop. Bam. Look at 2009, even more. So your account, which was $145,000 if you were in the stock market or you were in your 401k, dropped all the way back down to $100,000 where you started from. And it's 2009, 11 years that you've been do with that as opposed to giving it away. You know how to get better value for your money, impact of the savings over time. I'm about to teach you something that will help you for the rest of your life. It's called the Rule of 72. Here's what the Rule of 72 is. You simply divide 72, the number 72, by your expected rate of return to determine the number of years it will take for your money to double. For example, money at 4% doubles every 18 years. So if I took 72 divided by 4, it would say 18 years. So if you were 29 years old and you had 10,000 in savings and you never put another dime in, and you wanted to know what it was going to grow to by the time you were 65, that $10,000 would grow to 40,000. And you never put another dime in, by the rate of return of 4% every year. Now, if I ask the average person, what happens if it goes to 8%, the average person will tell me it'll go to 80,000. But in actuality, at 8%, it grows to $150,000 because your money doubled every 9 years as opposed to every 18 years. And just think, if you had 12%, your money's doubling every 6 years. So that same $10,000 could be worth $640,000 because you had 2 more doubles, and those last 2 doubles are huge. Now, let's talk about those doubles. And the only reason why I'm showing you this, because we just showed the example, is that this is what Albert Einstein said. It's one of my favorite quotes. The most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. The person that understands compound interest will earn it. The person that does not will pay it. And trust me and believe when we tell you that your creditors, they understand compound interest. And if they can keep you in debt for as long as possible, they know that if you're paying 9% on a card, well, that money is going to double every 8 years.
Wow.
They know that, and that's why you stay in debt for so long. So this is the power of what we can do. And I also want to just show you that here's someone put $255 away every month, started at zero, put $255 away, got a 9% return. In 38 years, there's their $1 million under their rocking chair. Powerful. But here's really how to win the money game. This you can relate to because a lot of us have gone through this. I have 2 kids doing this right now, so watch this. This is Meet Antonio. He has $25,000 in savings at the age of 30. He decides to stop contributing to his 401k and instead sends the $500 he was sending to his 401k, he sends it to his new private reserve account. So he didn't have to come up with any new money. He just reallocated it where it's going. At the age of 45, he elects to receive $20,000 a year tax-free for 4 years to send his lovely daughter to college. At 65, so now it's 35 years, he's ready to retire. At age 65, he stops making contributions and creates his own pension by electing to receive tax-free income, $50,000 a year for the rest of his LIFE. Now, watch this. He lives a life. He by the time he was 65, putting $500 a month away, you actually paid off in 58 months. So right there, you saved $942 right off the top because you paid off 2 months earlier. Because you're linked to the S&P 500 earnings from 2000 to 2004, when the market was kind of down, the earnings were $3,101 because you took no losses, only the gains. So you gained a total. If you add these 2 numbers together, the 3,100 and 900, that's $4,000. Well, you subtract the $4,000 from the 25, the car only cost you about $21,000. Powerful. Remember, push mute on your phone and make sure if you're on the moderator side that you have mute on your phone. Thanks. Okay, so now watch this. That's in a down market. Let's talk about the up market where the market was really hot in 2010 to 2014. That same car, you would pay the same $471 a month. paid it off in 58 months, saved the same $942, but now your earnings grew to over $15,000. When you add those two up, that's over $16,000. You subtract that from the $25,000 auto loan, the value of the car, the cost of the car, you literally have your car for only $9,000. See, that's the power. That's what wealthy people do. That's how they buy cars. That's how they buy their homes. And when you schedule your consultation, the reason why our CEO and founder got on the call tonight is to make sure you schedule that consultation, because when you do that, you're going to find out how to do that for yourself. This is the power of what we do here at MWR Financial. So there's 4 cornerstones. Remember, we talked about that, of a strong foundation. We want the growth, but we also want safety. We want that tax-free access, and then we want protection. Well, let's look at some accounts that we know about and see if they have growth, safety, tax advantage access, or protection. Now, you have stocks and mutual funds. We know what they are. We know about them. Let's see what they have. Let me go here and click here. Well, do they have growth? Yes. Do they have safety? No. Do they have tax advantage access? No. Do they have a death benefit or pension protection? No. Ouch. Those are all ouches. What about a 401k? They have growth. Do they have safety? Ouch. Do they have tax advantage access? Ouch. Protection? Ouch. What about a Roth IRA? They have growth? Yes. Safety? Ouch. Tax advantage access? Yes. Protection? Ouch. What about a fixed annuity? Ouch. No growth because it's fixed. But they have safety. Do they have tax access? Ouch. Do they have a protection? Yes. That's good. What about a variable annuity? They have growth? Yes. Do they have protection? Ouch. Do they have tax advantage access? Ouch. Do they have protection? Well, it depends. If the market is up and they have money at the end, yes. If they don't, they don't. So it just depends on how the market went. Well, let's look at an index annuity. Do they have growth? Yes. Do they have safety? Yes. Do they have tax advantage access? Ouch. Do they have protection? Yes. So that's pretty good, but it's not everything we want. Now, term insurance, like life insurance term, it's just for the terms. All they have is protection. Whole life insurance, they have no growth, but they do have safety, they do have tax advantage access, and they have protection. The problem is there's no growth. Universal life insurance, they have no growth, they have safety, they have tax advantage access, and they have protection. Variable universal life policy, they have growth, they have no protection, they have tax advantage access, and it depends if the market's up or down if they have protection. But let's talk about our private reserve account, where you find growth, you also find safety, you also find tax advantage access, and most importantly, you provide protection. That's the one PRA account. So if you ask which account you should get, it's a private reserve account. And ladies and gentlemen, I just showed you most of the kinds of accounts that all of us had know about and different things you can invest in. That's the power of the private reserve account. That's why our CEO and founder got on this call before we started and said, hey, you need to wake up and listen to this, because this is how we make wealth real. We didn't just come up with a name, MWR, so it sounds cool. No, we make wealth real right here. And you ready for this? Notice tonight on this call, I never even spoke to you about building the business. This is just utilizing the services that we have available for our customers and our business builders. Are you guys with me? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not finished. I want to show you something here, and I'm going to try to do this. Let's see, I have to do something first. Your screen is going to go pause for a moment, but it'll just pause. And then I'll switch screens here because I got to do a few things. Now, let's see here. Let me switch screens. Okay, great.
If you want to see the presentation, see it slides,
something that you're not going to like, you're going to love. This is a calculator. That's why it's very important that you stay on this line. You stay with me right to the end of this call. When you see this, this is going to blow your mind. Okay, let me just get my computer. For whatever reason today, it's just been so slow. It's even slower than I was in high school. Wow. Okay, here we go. All right.
No, you probably slowed down. You probably was fast in high school.
Okay, fantastic. Now, this calculator, let me show you what we do here. I'm going to just put here $500 a month. let's just say you were, I'm gonna put $400 a month. Maybe you were to putting your money in a 401k. You're kind of putting $400 a month away. Every couple of weeks you got $200 you're going to try to retire. Okay, and then let's say you were looking. Say about mid-age, about 35, you start saying, okay, I get real serious and you want to save money, and you want to have $70, you want to have money under your rocking chair at the age of 70, so we're going to say you were for 35 years, you were kind of working here on this. And let's just say right now, I'm not going to give any annual rate of return, so if you just put $400 away for 35 years, what would it calculate to? $168,000. That's if you're putting it under your mattress, okay? So we know that's not probably the best thing to do. Banks, over 35 years, right now they don't even give you 1%, but let's say over 35 years, you were able to get about a 2% return. Well, let's see what happens there. There's $243,000. So we know it's better to put your money in a bank and get some kind of return than none at all, right? Absolutely. Now let's go to 6%. 6% is kind of what you get where you in the market, you have 401k, 403b, maybe you had some sort of mutual fund, you had something that was going up and down, up and down, up and down, and over time, you'd average about 6% return. Well, now you're at over $500,000, so you're loving that. That's even better. And then let's just go with a private reserve account. They're doing 7.5 to 8.5, so let's call it in the middle, 8%. And at 8%, there's pretty much your $1 million, right? You're real close to your $1 million. But now, let's talk about something that I did not do. See, many of us think our house or our car are our biggest bills, but our biggest bill is our taxes. So taxes, ladies and gentlemen, we have to say, remember we say 1/3 goes to taxes, so I'm going to put 33% here. So now let's calculate using the taxes. Well, when we calculate using the taxes, look what happened to your $1 million. Dropped down to $501,000.
Wow.
Look at that. The Uncle Sam wants your money, and that's a lot of it. But let's look at this. We talked about that. What happens, and I want to just show you the same $400. What happens if you put just an extra $100? What would happen? Oh, and I want to show you something here. By the way, let me do this. Let me go here. I'm going to show you this tax earn, this $501,000. What if you so you saw, if you just had to pay taxes on it and anything else, your $1 million, almost $1 million went down to $500,000. But now if you put it in a 401k, you'd have done better because you'd have come up to $618,000. So that's much better. But if you do a private reserve, guess what? So after tax, it's money after taxes. That's when you put that in. So you're not taxed on the seed, but not the harvest. Then they defer the taxes, and then you pay no tax. Look what happens. There's your $1 million. You're almost your $1 million back right there. But what happens if you just said, you know what? I can contribute a little bit more. I made a little more, or I wound up getting my credit improved. I'm using